Hey, welcome back. This is Tom, and today I want to tell you about what it's like to work for a startup company as a software developer. You see, in my over 25 years of working in the software industry, I've seen a lot of different um, kinds of jobs, a lot of different kinds of companies, and a couple of times I worked for startup companies. And as a software developer in particular, there's a chance if you're working in a startup to, really get in when everything's new, when there's lots of moving pieces, where you're able to shape the face and the destiny of the company that you're working for, of the project that you're working on. Sometimes technology decisions haven't been made yet, which kind of language you use or what kind of frameworks or what kind of platforms you're gonna release, maybe your mobile app first, and what kind of features the software will have. And maybe you interview future customers about their problems, about their expectations, about what kind of things they wished for they had in a certain kind of software application. So a lot of unknowns and lots of moving pieces. And that means, great chance to, take these decisions and make them your own, work on things, shape, well, as I said, the destiny, right? You gotta be able to get your hands dirty. Usually there's not a lot of processes. Usually there's lots of chaos and unknowns, and you're not really sure what you're working on. You start to work on one product and project, and you think that's actually what will make a difference in your customers' lives, and then you show the first version to them, and they, from their reaction, from the way that they're using it, they signal you, well, no, that's actually not what's useful to them, and you pivot, right? That pivot is a very important point, word in startup culture, where you are measuring the results that you're getting from a version of your software, of your product, and you have to decide that, well, actually it's not accepted, that's not what they want, and we try something else. We pivot, and we try to tackle the problem or the idea from another angle, and create another kind of solution. And of course that takes time, and that takes energy, and most important, that takes money, right? So working for a startup most probably means that there's a lot of risk involved. You've got a lot of personal risk. Sometimes people working in startups aren't paid, or aren't getting paid regularly, or they have to wait for a customer, for one of the first customers to, hand over the money, pay their bills, in order for the company to be able to pay their employees, right? So there's lots of uncertainty involved there. Big chances, but also big risk, of course. And that has to fit into your own way of living, into your own personal situation, right? If you're maybe just raising a family, raising small children, then working for a startup company brings an additional risk into your life, in addition to all the chaos and the problems and the challenges you have at home, right? So the question is, are you cut out for that? Is this really this way of working that suits you in your current living situation, right? The payoffs can be big, right? Especially if you get in at the start of a company, where there's all kinds of, assets and sort of you're participating in the success of the company. You're getting shares there, some kind of benefits there with your pay, because your pay is minimal, or at least not the same as you would be getting when you're working for a bigger corporation. You're rewarded in kinds of shares of the company, or in some way, shape, or form. You participate in the success of the company when there is success, right? On the other hand, there's huge turnover, people dropping out, quitting. So you have to really be able to stomach that and to deal with all that uncertainty and sometimes frustrations and risks. Can really be a lot of fun working in startup culture and in a startup company where you're really, you're starting from scratch, right? That's what the startup is about. It's your chance to really get in and work your way into the product, into the customer's mind, be able to satisfy them and really participate and take advantage of being able there to start when the company just was founded, right? But on the other hand, there's lots of risks and uncertainty involved, and this has to fit into your own way of living and your own situation, and your level of uncertainty and that you're willing to agree on, right? That you're willing to accept in your life. And the companies that I've been working for, the startup companies, there was some where I had some kind of shares as being part of my pay. There were others where they were on the brink, on the edge from getting sort of moving from being a startup with the startup culture into more of a corporate kind of situation. So that was interesting to see there as well, because lots of things and processes or lack of processes that worked for a startup with a couple of people, like 10 or 15, didn't work when you grew and you became 50 or 60 or even 100 people. So there was all kinds of new levels of management needed there, new processes, etc. So that was interesting as well. Looking back, I don't really regret at all working for startup companies. It was a very exciting time, but again, it has to fit into your expectations, into your personal risk awareness and the way you're agreeing to get paid, or maybe be part of that whole endeavor of founding a company and dealing with the risk involved. But the payoffs can be also quite nice and big, and you have a chance to shape your own job, shape the destiny of the company that you're working for. That's the positives of working for a startup company.